Namaste, magical ones. Welcome back to Nine Wands. And again, I'm Kosh. Nice to meet you. um, I wanted to talk today about cycles of life and specifically how it relates to the death card in the tarot. So one of my practices is to draw a tarot card. I do it about once a week, sometimes every other day, depending on what's going on. And 2 days ago, I drew the death card. And if you know anything about this card, the death card is usually not predicting a physical death. It's usually more about the cycles of life, birth, death, and rebirth. The only way you can experience a regenesis or regeneration internally and externally is something else has to die off. And if you notice, the death figure is riding on a white horse, which represents purity. And the figures who are in his path are not running from death, because none of us, we can't, right? You can struggle against it metaphorically, but at some point in all of our lives, we have to go through this as a cycle. As an aside, my life path number on the numerology topic is 8. And 8 sideways is the infinity symbol, right? So I've experienced a lot of death cycles in my life. And each time I come out stronger and more empowered. What prompted me to talk about this, to tell you the truth, is I am working with a new guide, and I'm predominantly a Shaktipat, so I mostly work with goddesses as guiding heroes, heroines. And Kali came to me, Kali Ma. She is the Hindu deity specifically connected with those cycles of death and rebirth. She is the force behind Shiva. So Shiva is considered, or not considered, but Shiva is the deity that removes the illusion of separation from us. But in order to cut through that illusion, Kali Ma is his force that goes out. And if you've ever seen Kali Ma, she's really really fierce looking. She's got swords. I'm looking at my picture of her because I have a picture of her, and I'll show my altar probably in the next video. But she's got swords. She's got I think a trident, which is also connected with Shiva. She's holding like a severed demon head that's dripping blood, and there's like I think she wears a skirt of human arms and legs, and she's a very fierce looking goddess. But the beauty behind Kali Ma is that she represents the fierce mother, the mother deity, or the aspect of motherhood that has to protect her children from a ferocity. Otherwise, they're going to try to cross the street and a car's going to hit them, or somebody is going to harm their child. So it's that aspect of motherhood that has to be ferocious and has to be physical. And she's associated with the color black and red. The colors black and red because black is the void. Black is the womb. It's dark in there where things grow. The spark of life grows from that dark womb. And red is the root chakra. It's our connection to earthiness, to physicality, to the forces that are stimulating our life, our family figures. So Kali Ma came to me in dream, and I was somewhat, I wouldn't say I was nervous to work with her, but I knew that she had a very fierce persona. And I've worked with only one other guide who was considered to be a pretty ferocious crone goddess. I worked with Hecate, and she kicked my ass. But it was good. She said, you know, you can't always have that. You can't always get the side of the mother goddess or the crone goddess, or you can't always get that feminine energy that's going to be soft, because sometimes we're too soft, right? As female-bodied people, sometimes we're forced in these directions of being too soft and too gentle and too sweet and too unassuming and not taking up space. And then there are some of these female deities that say, no, take up space, be big, and I'm going to cut out all of the bullshit that's stopping you from doing that. And so Kali Ma came to me, and I was a little trepidatious around starting to work with her, because I didn't know a lot about her, only what I had seen and, you know, kind of what I knew, but I hadn't worked with her, and I didn't know other folks who had worked with her. So I didn't know what to expect. But she came to me, and she, in a nutshell, told me that I had been playing it small, and that there were there was an illusion of not smallness, but victimhood within me that was stopping me from achieving my highest good, that was preventing me from getting where I really wanted to be, and from doing what Spirit had fully empowered me to go and do as a priestess. And that she was there to cut out those parts of my ego that was feeding off of being small, that was feeding off of being unassuming and wanting to be considered as graceful and sweet and kind, and, you know, the tendency that I have towards mothering other people wasn't serving me. And so she came and said, you need to learn ferocity as a mother, as a priestess. You need to learn that. And there's many things that I want to birth in my life right now. And I thought, do I really want to be in this place right now? And what I really want is to make some shit happen, you know? Like I have goals and dreams, and I'm doing vision boards and, you know, things that I want to be creating from this place of like empowered, enlightened priestesshood. And I just was like, oh man, you know, another one of these cycles for me. And so I pulled a card the day before yesterday. Today is Thursday. So I pulled a card on Tuesday, and it was number 13, the death card. And I was like, oh man. But it's good, you know, I needed to know that this is where I am right now, that some things have to die internally in order for me to be reborn. And so I asked Kali Ma, what would you like me to talk about? I think I'm going to make a video. And she said, you think you're going to make a video? And I was like, right, okay. So what would you have me talk about today? And she said, talk about the difference between struggling and surrender. And I had to sit with that. I was in so much resistance to it. I was in resistance to it all day Tuesday and Wednesday. And now it's Thursday, 7 o'clock, and I'm just getting to this. And I would keep making excuses to not do this because I'm in resistance to this. But it comes no matter what. And the answers that I'm getting inside, I've had some really powerful psychic dreams. And the answers that I'm getting are do you think that in winter the trees struggle against their leaves falling? They try to hold on to the leaves? Or are they in surrender? That they know that that cycle has to happen so that in spring we get to see the bounty reborn. We get to see what comes forth, what's been gestating, right? Would we appreciate the children that we raise if there was no gestation period? If we find out we're pregnant and then tomorrow we're giving birth, would you be ready for that? Right? So you have to have this period of death in order for there to be rebirth. And then the whole thing starts over again. And these are the natural cycles of life that we sign up for when we agree to come to this plane and take on the human flesh and go about our day and try to achieve and create and do and whatever. And whatever path you're on, there is no escaping the life, death, and rebirth cycle. It just is. Or birth, death, and rebirth, sorry. There's no escaping that. And the difference between struggling and surrender is how you feel inside when you're going through those bumps. It's like the tower card. I wish I had that in front of me. It just popped in my head. But it's like the tower card. That there's this tall structure that is us. And then there's this lightning bolt, which is the enlightenment of God hitting that structure. And the structure is like our thought processes. And then there are the people who are leaping out of the tower or being expelled. We don't know. And that level of disruption has to come in order for you to experience what happens after you land. What's the next moment? If we're always at a high, we can never fully appreciate that. Death doesn't have to be a struggle. I'm not talking about physical death. I'm not talking about illness. I'm talking about death as a part of the cycle of our spiritual lives, our human lives, the things that we're creating, the jobs that we're doing, the journeys that we've decided to take with partnerships. There has to be varying levels of death and rebirth in order for something completely beautiful to keep emerging, in order for there to not be stuck energy. So, I had a dream, and in that dream, a guide came to me, and we had a really good talk. And at the end of it, he said, Akasha, be like water. Be like water. And I woke up thinking about that so much. Like, be like water. Be like water. And I love to swim. I'm a water baby. And I'm positive on some other plane, planet, time, and space, I was a water being. And so I was thinking about this thing of water. And what I know about water is if you are struggling, you will drown. if you stop struggling and surrender to the ebbs and flows, you will just float. And so I'm choosing, as these folks did, to be in surrender, to just float through this phase, knowing that Persephone will ride again. Persephone will rise from Hades again. And there will be a springtime, and there will be a rebirth of whatever it is that's going to happen next in my life. So Kali Ma asked me to share that. Just that's where I am, and maybe a lot of you are there too. I think our country, I'm in the United States, I damn near say our globe, Gaia. I think that we are all in some state of death, and that there will be a rebirth. And we have the choice to struggle with that or to surrender and let it be and enjoy the letting go, because it's going to happen anyway. And if you can let go and you can just let it be, as I've said a million times, that should just be my life motto. If you can just let it be, it's going to be so beautiful when you're done. When you're done gestating and you come out of the oven. That sounds really terrible. I should have said that. When you're all done, it's going to feel so good and so beautiful. And you will be grateful that you're in a birthing cycle again. So just wanted to share that. And wherever you are, whatever level of spiritual, emotional, physical, family, whatever death cycle you may be in, just know that you're not alone. So many of us on the daily are moving through this experience, and we will rebirth, and you are loved by the cosmos, by your creator, who I've decided to start calling magic, by the way. Source never really felt totally right to me, like a battery. But magic is holding us and loving us and is appearing as us. So, namaste. And blessed be on your journey.